Let's get a check on the weather now with Nebraska Extension Ag Climatologist and Market Journal Chief Meteorologist Al Dutcher. And Al, these 80-degree temperatures have been nice, but do we now need to be getting ready for some cooler temps?
Yes, Troy, we've seen a little bit of cool weather. It might be a sign of things to come. It does appear that we're going to be dealing with a little bit of more of this Arctic air coming into our region over this next week. A couple shots look to be in the cards. Before we get to that main forecast, of course, CPC, the Climate Prediction Center, released their official winter forecast for the months of December, January, February. And the key highlight is that below normal temperatures that were encompassed in the northern plains have been shifted a little bit toward the east and toward the south from the previous month, which was last month. And in terms of precipitation, a wide band of above normal precipitation across the northern 1/4 of the country, basically across the Dakotas, and then dipping that down into the Great Lakes region. For us, unfortunately, no real significant precipitation trend is in the forecast, but the cold weather does look to be on the way. So let's get right to the forecast and see how this may portend as we go through this next 7-day period. As you can see from today's upper air pattern, we have a trough over the northern plains that is expected to dive toward the south and southeast over the next 24 hours. We have a cold front line across the southern South Dakota that is expected to move through the state during the overnight hours, pushing high pressure from Montana into our region as we go into tomorrow. So we see the snow lining up across the northern plains, and that is expected to push southward, giving us a chance of light rain and snow flakes during the overnight hours before clearing out during dairy bake. Most of the cold air moves to the east as high pressure firmly in control. It's going to be a very cool, raw day on Sunday, basically looking at low 40s to upper 40s across the state. You can see there's that precipitation skirting through during the morning hours. And then as we get into Monday, we start to see some relaxation of that trough. Might be bumping our temperatures about 5 degrees across the state. We're still going to be stuck in the 50s pretty much statewide. Most of the precipitation will shift to our southeast. More importantly, as we get into Tuesday, we start to see another piece of energy that wants to move through this flow, really just a reinforcing shot of cool air to keep temperatures basically stable in the mid 50s. High pressure moves across the Dakotas. This is a very dry air mass, so most of the precipitation, of course, will remain well to our north as we remain in this persistently dry pattern. Now on Wednesday, we start to see a flattening out of that troughing pattern, so we're going to get more of a zonal flow. Low pressure tries to develop in this northeastern Colorado. There's just no moisture for it to work with. So we'll see an increase in temperatures back to closer to normal into the low to mid 60s, with most of precipitation over the Great Lakes. And then another surge of cool air tries to come in on Thursday. Most of that is directed toward the northern plains in northwestern Nebraska as high pressure starts to filter in. Again, not much in the way of precipitation, as most of that precipitation is expected to move along the front to the south of Nebraska and up toward the Great Lakes. And as we get into the day on Friday, we start to see that trough lifts out. Much warmer conditions look to be in store as we get on the backside of that high pressure and brings us back up into possibly the 70-degree mark across the state. As you see, the snow accumulation looks like it's going to be into the eastern Corn Belt. More importantly, as we go farther down the line, which takes into consideration next Thursday to the following Tuesday, we look like we're below normal temperatures, and that is because another piece of energy looks like it's going to come into our region next weekend. This one has a pretty good shot of cold with it. If it comes in a little bit farther toward the west, and we would see a better precipitation regime across western Nebraska. But right now, the models aren't too particularly encouraging in terms of moisture. We see that most of the significant above normal moisture associated with this system will remain well to our east, with below normal or precipitation in the west that will start to move toward our region and bring a nice warming trend, it looks like, for the end of the month. So Troy, overall, it looks like we're going to see very cool temperatures, more remnants of what we would expect during the fall, maybe a shot of snowfall, very light at that. But more importantly, it looks like we're setting a trend up. And if the La Nina forecast itself is accurate, probably going to see some very cold conditions during the first half of the winter with many of these Arctic surges. So this is our taste of it. Enjoy this little cool weather. The warm air will return in earnest at the end of the month.